What's up guys, I hope you're doing well. This is Steven Gataletta with the Self-Fulfillment Project. And in today's video I want to talk about how motivation and self-discipline play into each other. And in order to do this, I'm going to go ahead and utilize a metaphor of creating a fire. What's the first thing you need when you make a fire? It's a spark, right? No matter how big of a fire you want. No matter if you want just a little bonfire, no matter if you want a candle, or even a wildfire, you need that initial spark. And it's pretty easy to get. It doesn't matter how big the fire will end up being. That initial spark comes from a pretty simple source most of the time. Either a lighter, a match, you name it. It's pretty easy to get. But what happens if all you have is a spark? It dwindles very fast. And guys, when it comes to achieving goals we have in our life, motivation is that spark. Motivation is that initial urge to do something. But the issue with it is that it doesn't last very long. So how do you bridge the gap between a simple spark and the ultimate goal, which is like a wildfire of our passion spreading throughout our life? And you can answer that question in the analogy of the fire. What do you do to create a wildfire? What do you do to create a large fire? You fan the flames from that initial spark, and that is our daily grind. That is our self-discipline. That is what we do on a daily basis in order to reach our dreams. It's like the saying, it's not what you do once, it's what you do consistently every single day. What habits you have. And the problem a lot of us have is that we're addicted to motivation. We're trying to replace the self-discipline aspect with constant motivation. And we do this in a lot of ways. That's why we're obsessed with motivational speakers, or motivational books, or motivational YouTube videos, right? The self-discipline part is hard. The motivation is nice. We get that good feeling inside of us, and we want to keep that going. And we try to replace self-discipline with that. Keep motivating ourselves until we hit the goal. Nah. What you forgot is that motivation is just a spark. Motivation is the initial push. But then if you don't replace that with self-discipline, if you don't replace that with a constant effort, a daily basis, a consistent effort to get there, whatever it may be, right? What a person's day-to-day will look like depends solely on their goal and how they want to get there. But the point remains the same for every scenario. You will have to work hard. You will have to do things that are not fun, that you may not want to do on a daily basis. You're gonna have to sit there and fan your flames and blow on them, attend to them. And then eventually what happens with a fire, if you attend to it long enough, it gets to the point where it's large enough that it carries its own momentum. You no longer have to think about it, right? It no longer needs so much constant attention and effort. You still need to work, of course, but it becomes a little bit more natural. It carries a momentum of its own. It becomes a wildfire, and that's the ultimate goal with our passions, with our goals, is to become a wildfire in our lives. And sometimes we even try to put a price on motivation. Sometimes we try to buy things to motivate us, like an investment. Like if we want to work out a little harder, we'll buy a nicer pair of shoes or shorts. I wanted to make better YouTube videos, so maybe I'll buy a more expensive camera, right? That's what I tried to do the other day. What was I trying to do? I was trying to replace my self-discipline, my actual hard work I have to do, with extended motivation. And that extended motivation is not going to do it. Just like a million sparks can't start a fire. One spark has to be nurtured. It has to be tended to until it becomes a wildfire. And when I was kind of thinking about this analogy in my head, I noticed some language that we already inherently use and have that illustrate this connection. And that's your spark of interest, your motivation, right? Spark of a fire. It sparked my interest in something. Or burning with passion, burning with desire. It's kind of an interesting connection, guys, but I hope it illustrates a good point. Motivation is easy, it's cheap, it doesn't last long, it's your spark. The real winner is the hard work, the everyday, the discipline, the grind. That is the fanning of the flames. And the effort is to get to the point where your passion, your dream becomes a wildfire in your life and takes over from its own momentum. That's it, guys. I hope you liked it. If you did, please hit the subscribe button. Give me a like. Leave a comment. Make an effort to reply to all of them. Take it easy. Have a great day.